Okay, so you can see here what this looks like. We've got 100 dots on the paper. You want to make sure that they spread them out evenly all over the paper. That's really important. If they have them clumped up, it's not going to work as well. So they're going to spread out their paper, on their paper just like this. All right, so oops, once they have it spread out like that, then their job is to prey upon the mice. And it is important that you sort of keep the class together because you're going to dim the lights. Now I realize that that classroom has big windows that let sunlight in, so the groups that are closer to the window are going to have a little bit of an advantage over the other ones, but you might, you know, tell them to sort of put the paper behind people. In the past we have tried to cover up the windows with some of the posters, the transcription translation posters, so if you guys want to do that, or the cell respiration posters, if you guys want to do that, maybe the first lab of the week, put up papers in the windows, that would actually help a ton. So what they're going to do is they're going to do round one. If you start with, you're starting with, erase this, we're starting with 100 dots, all right, and we want to eat 75% of them. So depending on if they're working in a group of 4, a group of 3, a group of 2, they just need to do the math, right? So we're going to remove 75 of them and have 25 survivors. Okay, so that's what you need to make clear, and however they do it is fine. But here's the rule. When they go and grab a dot, they have to pretend like they're a mama hawk that's just spotted a mouse. They're going to grab the mouse, and then they're going to take it back to their nest. So it's very important that between each grab, the students close their eyes and look away. Otherwise, they're going to sit there and systematically pick out the dots. So they pick one, they look away, they put it in their hand. They pick one, they look away, they put it in their hand, and so on until they've picked the 75 off the page. Okay, does that make sense? And so once you have 25 survivors, then they are going to graph it. So round one results, they're going to graph, after reproducing, sorry. So they're going to pick off their 75 survivors, then they're going to take their 25 survivors, pick off the 75 that die. The 75 that die, they can either just put them back into the dot container, or they can just keep them as to use for offspring, but they're gone, right? So they have 25 survivors. Then let's say that they end up with 10 of them are pink, and 5 of them are white, 2 of them are red, 1 of them is purple, and 1 of them is orange, and so on. I'm not going to do them all. Okay, so let's say that they're going to add offspring, they're going to add 3 babies for every survivor, and the babies have to be the same color as the adult. So I'm going to add on 30 more pink dots, right? And I'm going to add on 15 more white dots. And I'm going to add on 6 more red dots, etc. till you get back up to 100 again. So you're adding on babies to get it back up to 100. Okay, does that make sense? So what you're going to do is when they get it all spread out for the first time, you're going to turn the lights down, like leave one light on, or open the prep room and have the light on in there. You want it really dim so they have a hard time seeing the dots. And then they're going to draw their dots out, and then when everybody's done hunting, caw-caw, caw-caw, then you're going to turn the lights back on and let them do the reproduction. This is where students like to start talking about their weekend and start talking about what happened in class or whatever. You need to keep them on target. Like, come on, are we counting? We're getting our dots back on there. And inevitably, every time I do this, there is a group or 2 that just can't count. And they end up with like 500 dots at the end, or they end up with 3 dots at the end. I don't know what they're doing, but you want to be walking around and just making sure that they understand that you went down to 25 survivors, they're adding 3 for each one there, so they should end up back at 100 again. All right? I don't know why this is difficult, but it seems to be difficult. So once they've done their reproduction, they're going to spread it out on their scrapbook paper again, and then you're going to run a second round. So that everybody ready? We're going to turn the lights out, we're going to run a second round, then a second round of reproduction, and then one more time you're going to run a third round, and a third round of reproduction. And they're going to graph each of their rounds in like a bar graph of colors on their papers, but encourage them to graph it on their boards so that they at the end can show everybody what happened to their populations, because it'll be different for everyone. So once they finish doing those 3 simulations, then you're going to go around and share. What did yours look like? What did yours look like? What was your scrapbook paper? Okay? And so I'm going to show you a simulation of what these 2 might look like.